Hello there my YouTube friends and fans. It's been a long time again since I last made a video, but I think about making videos every day because it's just one of my hobbies and I just have so little time to make videos now, and I also just don't feel like sitting at the computer much in my free time when I don't work, because I sit at the computer a lot for work. But I still want to make videos, so here we go. This is my try of just making some videos again on a long weekend that I have currently, and this is all about Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which I'm completely addicted to at the moment. At this point I have about 62 hours under my belt in this game, and I'm only about 39% done with the main story. But that's also because I try not to just rush and complete the main story, because a lot of times the side missions are a lot more fun than the main missions. And also, in order to rank up, you have to do side missions, you have to do a lot of exploring and things, and the world is just so beautiful in this game, and there is such a huge variety of different types of nature. You have like snowy mountains, as you can see in the back, you have lakes, you have waterfalls, you have caves, you have the jungle, you have the ocean. It's just incredible. There's just so much to see. The only thing I've noticed that there's some of the buildings are repetitive, that they kind of copy and pasted it, but it doesn't really bother me because the world around it kind of makes that okay. It makes it interesting enough, and I just absolutely love that they have the drone in there again, where you can just see what's going on before you infiltrate, and make sure you don't run into any enemies that you didn't notice. And it's actually a lot like Wildlands, but I would say it's a lot better than Wildlands. It's actually a lot harder, a lot more challenging. The enemies are super cruel, and they seem to always know where you are. So you have to be super careful and always plan ahead. I've tried to just go in guns blazing, and it just never works out. That's just, you can probably take out a bunch of enemies, but it will eventually get you. You never really can finish. Somebody's gonna sneak up behind you, someone you didn't see, didn't count on, didn't even notice with the drone is gonna sneak up on you and kill you, because some of the enemies have shotguns, some of the enemies are super accurate and they're super deadly, and then there's all those vehicles and vehicle drones that are super deadly, that can take you down within seconds. So you have to be super careful to plan everything ahead, who to take out first, what to take out first, and how to not make too much noise. So the best thing is that they don't even know you're there. And if they have noticed that somebody is there, the best thing is you make sure they don't see you, so they get kind of unsure and stop looking after a while. So now I just blew it. This guy just saw me. I didn't really think that that's gonna happen, so I'm just gonna have to lay low for a while until they calm down and I can continue my mission. But that doesn't always work, because this is not a great position I'm in right now, because if a chopper is approaching, I won't have any cover and he will be able to just take me down easily, or even the drone. So it's better if you are in a house, of course, but I'm just hoping for the best here, and it actually worked out for me at the end. So the one thing that always seems to happen every time I start a game is I don't have any weapons. You can see that it looks like I'm holding a weapon, or a transparent weapon, but I'm actually not having a weapon, because you can't even shoot. The weapon would be transparent if you would be able to shoot but not see the weapon, but you can't shoot at all. So you have to always kind of like wait a little bit. So what I usually do, I just go in here and kind of tinker around with my guns, see if I should switch them up, if I should upgrade them, because a lot of times I loot so many guns that I can't keep up with always having the best and the latest. I just hold on to the one that I like, and then I'm like, oh god, I should probably go and upgrade them so I can get my gear score up. So the one thing that's just kind of like blew me away when I played this game first is just the sheer amount of guns that you can have here. There is just a never-ending supply of guns. And of course, after a while, they are the same guns, but they're like a higher class. So you will all of a sudden say, oh, I already had like a P90 before and it wasn't so good, but this P90 is a lot better, so maybe I should try out this P90. And so you can constantly like find out which weapon works best. A lot of times there's a weapon that seems the stats don't look so good, but when you actually try it out, it's really, really good. It's like a lot more stable, or it just feels better. And there's just so many things you can just like really play around with those guns. Any other one thing is that you can also, you have a lot of gadgets that you can take with you, like grenades and flashbangs and wire cutters, so you can actually breach through a fence. And then you have like your outfit that you can constantly upgrade, which is awesome and really interesting, and it makes the game actually fun. It's like definitely a fun game for people who just like looters and shooters. That's really what this game is. And so I still don't have a weapon, but it should come in any minute here. And there we go, the weapon finally showing up. It doesn't really bother me so much. I can assume that that will be in some of the next fixes, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who has this issue. And usually when gamers experience something like this, they complain, and hopefully the developers will listen. There's a few little bugs that I hope that they're going to fix, but nothing major, nothing that makes the game unplayable. So I just have a bunch of enemies that are unaware that I'm here, which I always love. I love sneaking up on them. I wouldn't have to actually bother with them at all. I could just kind of sneak by them. But the cool thing is a lot of times you get some good loot out of those, and you can also, get your XP ranked up this way. So the best way to take out enemies like that is usually if they're all lined up, where you can almost take out one or two at the same time, but they're kind of spreading out. The enemy is actually really, really smart. So that's what makes this game so much more challenging. They are rushing you and they are hiding right away. It makes them actually super realistic, which makes it very, very difficult sometimes. But those straggling enemies that you just find in the wilderness out there, they're usually easy to take down, especially if you have good distance and cover. And I just absolutely love the snowy mountains here. The difference, the change between the swamps and the jungle and then the snowy mountains. You can just kind of play wherever you feel like right now. And actually I just had an amazing scenario happening on this mountain just before I actually recorded this. And I was so mad at myself that I didn't record it. I took out a pilot with my sniper rifle. I shot him in the head while he was shooting at me from the chopper. And the chopper, and he died, and the chopper went down, but he came right at the flaming chopper, came right at me and crashed at me, and I was super surprised. I wasn't dead after that. And then I had no ammunition, and I had more enemies hunting me down, plus drones. So I had to kind of defend myself with my pistol only, which was very challenging, and I was super sure that I was about to die. But I survived the whole scenarios, and at the end got super awesome loot. So that was so crazy. Those kind of moments make this game just so amazing, and I can only recommend it highly to anyone who likes this kind of game. The one thing that disappointed me a little bit when I played this game more is that I was expecting this to be more of a survival game, but it really isn't about survival at all. Even though you can get hurt, and especially now when I'm hiding from a chopper that's approaching, making sure he doesn't see me, because as soon as he sees me, all hell breaks loose, and I don't have much cover here at all, if any. So you can hurt your ankle or something, or break a leg, or break a wrist, or whatever, or twist it. When you slide down the mountains, you kind of roll and fall, so you have to be kind of careful doing that. I'm kind of not careful right now because I'm in a hurry getting away from the chopper. But anyway, I'm also trying to desperately get down this mountain without hurting myself, and I'm just not patient at this point. So you can see I already have a bloody foot there, or a bloody ankle, where I had to heal myself. But in general, they were kind of mentioning survival, and there's really no survival here. You don't have to eat in order to survive, or drink in order to survive. You don't starve to death. You don't dehydrate. You don't really ever get tired. I mean, if you run too long, yeah, you get exhausted, and then it's maybe good you go to a bivouac. That's where you have a tent where you can sleep and recover. But you can also just kind of like take it slower, and then you kind of slowly recover again. So that to me is not survival. I think this game, they could take it up a notch in the next game and maybe make it so that you have to eat in order to survive, and you have to find clean water in order to survive. I mean, they have those elements in here, but it's almost kind of redundant. It's, you can fill up water, but it's like, why? I haven't filled up water once. I haven't drank in once in those 62 hours that I played this game, which is over in game time over weeks. Never drinking a drop of water, never eaten anything, and I'm just going strong. And that's where it feels kind of like, why did they add the water and food stuff in here and the collecting flowers and herbs and everything when you don't actually need it at all? That just made me a little, I found that weird. It's almost like it was just kind of like a waste, unless they were just kind of testing this for the next game. I don't know. I have high hopes in this, but even without the survival aspects here, the game is still extremely fun and challenging. Just because of the enemies alone, the drones that attack you, the wide varieties of enemies, and the enemies are super unpredictable, so that makes this game, never really have a dull moment in this game. So I'm trying to get to this bivouac right now because I'm tired of walking, and what you can do at the bivouac, you can actually get a vehicle ready to, basically like you order a cab or something like that, even though you drive it yourself. But that's usually what I do. I mean, the only reason really I go to a bivouac is usually just to get a vehicle because I'm tired of walking. I can't find one, and usually my vehicle of choice is a chopper because it gets me to places a lot faster and it's less dangerous. But you can also rest here, you can craft things, you can also go to the store and buy things. So I'm gonna see if I can craft it. I see I can craft this, for example, so I don't have to waste any money. I could also buy this if I wanted to, but I'm like thinking I have so much material, enough material here to craft this. The sync shot drone, which is a super helpful gadget that actually lets you take out enemies with a drone, enemies that you marked, but you can also craft food here, which I tried out, but I didn't really feel a difference. It didn't make a difference for me somehow, and so I'm like, why am I even bothering making this? It's kind of fun at first, but then it's like just a waste of time almost to do this. So I'm not even bothering with this anymore. But who knows, maybe someday I hear someone tell me how this is going to work best or how this works for them, and then I'll maybe fall in love with it. But for now, I'm just not using it. So most of the time when I go into the crafting here, I have absolutely nothing to craft, or I don't have the right materials for it. So I usually just go to the store and just buy what I need because I have so much money. I have more money than I actually need. You just accumulate all this money by doing a lot of looting, which I love to do. And that's why I'm not progressed very far in the story yet. So then here you can do preparations. You can just kind of get some upgrades for an hour. Like you can have your XP grow faster, or you can be more resistant against damage, against injury, stuff like that. So you can see 60 minutes. I usually do the resistance against injury. I always think that helps. I don't feel that it makes a difference, but I think it doesn't hurt. I don't have to craft anything. It's fast, and here you could just buy guns and outfits and decals and whatnot. I mean, lots of things, knives. And I usually go in here and I don't really feel like I need anything. The only thing I actually bought was a chopper that can actually shoot, that comes with cannons, which I thought was helpful. And then here you can buy those gadgets. Those are good. Those are always good. I make a lot of use of mines and grenades and all that stuff. And I also have bought attachments for guns that I thought it's going to take too long for me to find them. But then here's just some, cosmetic stuff for guns and stickers and stuff. That's not so important for me. because I'm playing solo and I don't really care much what I look like. And a lot of times you just find great outfits just by looting chests on the way. And so this is kind of like, I don't really need any of this. This is just kind of like a waste of money. I'd rather spend my money on gun attachments and gadgets that actually help me get a mission completed than this visual stuff. So I'm kind of done here doing all my upgrades and all that stuff and resting in my bivouac. So I'm now ready to take off. I just ordered a chopper and the chopper is waiting nicely there. I just love this feature a lot. So now I have my ride. I didn't even have to go and find a chopper. I just ordered one, like order one from the catalog, and I always get into the wrong seat. Nope, don't do that. You gotta go in the driver's seat. All right, here we go. I'm ready for the next mission. So I just wanted to make a little bit of a review what I think about this game, because I think you can't really make a good review of a game until you played enough hours in it, because a lot of times you have a totally different impression of a game at the beginning than when you're like in the middle or even at the end of the game. And that's why you see some of the reviewers make like say that they're actually gonna make another review after many hours of gameplay, because it's just more fair to the developers. You have to give it some time. You have to also learn. There's quite a bit of a learning curve in this game, because there's so much to do and so many settings, so many weapons. You have to kind of know where to get what does what, and why you would need certain things, and then also kind of get to know the enemies, kind of what type of enemies are there and how you best approach them and all that. And it's actually funny, a lot of times when I play this game, I feel like I'm playing Splinter Cell, and I think that's a good thing. It kind of has like a combination of Splinter Cell and Ghost Recon and maybe a little bit of Far Cry. So it's they kind of took like the best of every game and kind of combined it in one game, and it could even be better. I feel like there's a lot of room for improvement in this game, but this game is definitely come a long way since Wildlands. I think they really listened to the gamers' feedback and make this game a lot more interesting, just even by making the enemies more realistic and more alert and behave more natural like in reality. Because in Wildlands the enemies were very predictable, and it kind of made it a little bit boring, even though the world was amazing in Wildlands. It just after a while it got a little bit repetitive, because all the missions kind of were playing the same way and the enemies were always behaving the same way. And I just think that, you know, them adding drones, different kinds of drones, and adding also elite enemies and enemies that are behaving really realistically makes this game super challenging, and you just feel like a real badass when you play this game. So I hope you enjoyed this little review of mine, even though it was a little late compared to some other reviews you probably saw. But I just wanted to make a video, and so you know what I'm playing at the moment, and you know what I think about this as a Battlefield player. I will definitely highly recommend this to anyone who likes adventure, shooter, looter games, open world, any type of that. You'll have a ton of fun if you play this game the right way, which means not just rushing from main mission to main mission, but actually exploring the world and doing tons of the side missions, helping people out, and just exploring everything this game has to offer. So I think I babbled enough about this game, even though there's a lot more I could talk about, but I just wanted to cover the most important things, the things that come across me every time I play this game. And I basically just want to say that this game is definitely awesome. It's got a few bugs, which every game really has. You can't really find a game anymore nowadays without bugs, so you're just getting used to them. And as long as the game is playable and fun, I think those really don't matter, and they usually get fixed. But this game runs really well. And besides, you know, not having a gun and sometimes some graphical glitches, there's really nothing that bothers me. So with that, I'll conclude this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up or comment, give me some feedback if you don't mind. And I hope to see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.